think Korean fans deserve more. That's my honest opinion, because I don't know what other country fans do, but if you watch South Korea, how many people watch Son play for Tottenham at 4 o'clock in the morning? How many people wake up at 5 a.m. to watch Kang In Lee play for PSG, or Kim Min Jae plays for Bayern Munich or Napoli maybe last season? I do my YouTube stream when they play matches, and there's so many people watching the game before they go to their work. So many people give their attention to the players and give their desire and time to this Korean team. But what we get from it, I think we get nothing.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of Peeping Ballers. Today, I am so excited to be joined by Mr. Moondog himself. Moondog, how you been?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. It's nice to meet you guys, and it's quite early in South Korea, so yeah, I'm really excited to speak in English again. Yes.
Yes. South Korea is through to the knockout stages of the Asian Cup, but I think before we delve into the team and the issues surrounding it, let's talk a little bit about background first. For our international viewers who don't know who Moondog is, can you maybe just give you a brief introduction about yourself and your own background in football?
My name is Moondog, or you can call me Hong Moon. I'm running a YouTube channel in South Korea called Moondog, and I used to live in England for 10 years. I got a UEFA B license over there as a youngest Korean, and now I have an AFCA license as well, and I'm still trying my best, trying to be the best coach in the world.
It's good to hear, Moondog. I've been following your channel for quite a long time. Big fan. I know that you recently got your A license in Malaysia, so congratulations to you again. I know
Thank you very
your ultimate goal is to pursue a career in coaching and, like you said, reach those top levels, whether it's in Europe or managing the national team at the World Cup. What motivated you to start YouTube in the first place?
What made me to do my YouTube is that because I didn't grow up playing football in South Korea, and when I came back after I've got UEFA B license, and I realized that there were so many hurdles that I have to go through, which was like that I didn't play K-League in Korea, and all the coaches in South Korea have to be like international players, or they had to be at least really good K-League players. And for me, that was a big hurdle for me to break. So I thought one thing I can do maybe is grow my fans, so who wants to see my football. So that's the reason why I started YouTube, trying to get my fan base.
And I know you mentioned about how you spent some time in England, which is a
Yep.
completely different culture from South Korea. Can you maybe explain the differences in the way they coach the players over in the UK compared to how we do it in Korea?
South Korea football coaching is really improving compared to Europe, because I've been here for 10 years now in South Korea again. Since so many Korean players went to Premier League or La Liga or Ligang or Bundesliga, they're bringing so many knowledge and ideas to South Korea. And now on YouTube, or now you can see from the internet, you can see so many trainings and you can learn a lot from the internet. So I think difference is getting smaller and smaller, but overall, in my opinion, like I think the biggest part is the tactical maybe emphasis. So in Europe, when they're young, they play a lot of the matches and they get to like learn the tactics and the good football. And say, for example, if you play for Barcelona, maybe the young players will learn exactly same as the first team. Obviously, the different trainings, but they will learn the same system. From the young age, they learn tactics and how to play in this system. But in Korea, I think it's more about right now, can we make him a good product? So can we make individual good players, and can we maybe sell them, or can we maybe make them a good international player instead of making a good team? So I think that is the big difference between South Korea and Europe. Maybe the playing style comes in too. Like if you look into Europe football, there can be like physical teams, or there can be like passing style, there can be counter-attacking team. There's so many different ways of playing football. But in Korea, it's improving a lot, and there's a lot of the good coaches out in South Korea too. But I think mainly in Korea, they still look for the physical ability more than the brain.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts, Moondog. Like, our neighbors in Japan, they have a very
Yep.
set system in how they play. From very, very young, it's always a tiki-taka, short style of passing. Do you think we'd benefit from something like that? Like, not that, the KFA has the competency to set something up like the Japanese Football Federation, but if we were to set up something like that, would that benefit us?
If the KFA have the role model like they want to follow, obviously that's going to help a lot. But just looking at the World Cup, when Paulo Bento made a great successful 4 years and we qualified for last 16, there was a rumor that he left out all the training staff and all the record of the 4 years of training sessions. So I think that could have been a really good model for us. But if you look at the team right now, I think we've lost exactly 4 years already. So I'm not sure having a good model maybe can help, but are we using that really well, because after maybe Paulo Bento left, they recorded all the training stuff and everything. They should be using that, like opening those maybe seminars for coaches to pay and come to the seminars to learn about what Paulo Bento did with South Korean teams, how they managed to build a football in the World Cup. Because for South Korea, World Cup was always like sitting back, counter-attacking, defending. But last World Cup, we went out there and played our football. There's no really sources that we can learn from it. So are they really using the models well? So I don't know. I think we still have really far way to follow, but having a good model is always good. Yes. Yeah.
That's actually a great transition into the next question. So you mentioned that Paulo Bento was here for 4 years, right? He built a system. He gave us a blueprint to follow. And it seems, to be honest, that maybe the KFA, Chung Myung-gyu and Jurgen Klinsmann came up and blew that all up, right?
Yeah.
And that leads us into the Asian Cup and our performance in the group stages. So Moondog, let me ask you, unfiltered, honest opinion, first 3 games in Group E, what did you think of our 3 matches so far?
Disgraceful. That is my opinion. First thing, I saw that coming, to be honest. Like before even the Asian Cup, the way he was working for our Korean national team just didn't seem right, to be honest, before we entering the cup. Like when we enter the cup, obviously there's going to be negative opinions about how we play football, maybe the tactics. There can be a lot of the issues before we enter the cup. I think that goes to any countries, every country in the world. But I think the way he works and way he treats the system and how he came and suddenly just changed everything, what we've been doing, like as a KFA, before like announcing the sign-up or squad for the friendly matches or World Cup qualifiers, he exactly just threw that one away. When someone comes into the new system, obviously they have to follow what they've been doing past here historically. But it's been a disgraceful the way we play or the way we fight. And even the last match, 3-3 against Malaysia, I think that's football, to be honest. We could attack and lose to the teams who below us. But I think that just summarized our tournament. I think there's no positive things about Asian Cup so far, to be honest. So many fans was excited, wanted to watch, wanted to see this amazing squad playing in a Asian Cup. And to be honest, I think our group was not the hardest group, to be honest. I think Korean fans deserve more. That's my honest opinion, because I don't know what other country fans do, but if you watch South Korea, how many people watch Son play for Tottenham at 4 o'clock in the morning? How many people wake up at 5 a.m. to watch Kang In Lee play for PSG, or Kim Min-jae plays for Bayern Munich or Napoli maybe last season? I do my YouTube stream when they play matches, and there's a lot of the YouTubers who does those kind of live streaming for those games. And there's so many people watching the game before they go to their work. So many people give their attention to the players and give their desire and time to this Korean team. But what we get from it, I think we get nothing.
That's a great point. And you know what? We might as well go deeper then. For those who don't know abroad, the KFA is currently controlled by Hyundai, which is a conglomerate that makes cars. I don't know, Moondog, if any other federation in the world is controlled by a chaebol or a conglomerate. It'd almost be like the USMNT being controlled by Amazon. So let me ask you, in your honest opinion, as someone who's spent time in Korea and abroad, do you think this is also maybe a mental issue in the way that the people in positions of power in administration make their decisions? Is it hubris? Is it arrogance? What is it? Because as a Korean American who's lived in Korea for many years, I think the country has developed a lot and we're learning from our mistakes. But when I see the way the federation is structured and the decisions they're making, it doesn't seem like they've evolved from the 1980s and the 1990s.
I think they stopped in 2002. They just literally just stopped because I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's just the arrogancy. They think, oh, because we have good players, we have good youth system coming up. I think they just think, oh, we're going to do well. They don't think about how we need to develop coaches, how we need to develop the players. Korea they look at the players, not the whole culture system, in my opinion. Because if you look at England or if you look at other countries, they did really well in World Cup and Euros, things like that, because they try to grow the coaches. They try to grow the players. And not just from player, like, like not just growing famous players. They grow the people who's got talent in coaching. But in Korea, are they really growing coaches? In my opinion, I don't think so. Like, they all have to make their own way up there. So
the 2002 World Cup was amazing for us. It inspired a new generation of future footballers. That's where the likes of Sunny, Kim Min-jae, Hwang Hee-chan, they all built their careers based on what they saw in 2002. But at the same time, I think it's clear that the KFA is still stuck, like you said, they're still stuck in 2002. Who's getting all the coaching jobs? Who's getting all the high-level positions in the KFA? If you look at it, it's always been the 2002 members. And it's a problem because great players don't make great coaches. I think we've seen that time and time again. Wayne Rooney, Steven Gerrard, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard, exactly. The list goes on and on and on. Lee Jong-yeol at Gwangju FC, Kim Gi-dong, who's now the manager for FC Seoul. I don't believe, that we're not producing good coaches because we're not capable. The talent is there, but you need to give opportunities to guys, who aren't the best players, who haven't, played in the World Cup, like yourself, even Moondog. The guys who are hungry, the guys who are passionate. And I don't think the KFA is set up right now to do that, which is quite unfortunate.
And I think the problem is that we play all different football styles. Now in Asian Cup, Klinsmann, first team, I don't know what type of football they're playing. And if you look at under 23, I don't know what type of football they're playing. You look at under 20s or Kim Eun-jung-ho, they played structured football. They played 4-4-2 counter-attack maybe. So that was a really good system, but it's all different. And under 17s, if you saw the World Cup, they play really good build-up football.
Yes.
So each different age group, they play different system. How are you expecting those players to come up and play good for the first team? So I think all this kind of stuff have to be worked by FA. We should have our model first, and then we should try to find the coaches.
I think anyone with a football brain would say that Mancini is far superior tactically to Jurgen Klinsmann. Honest thoughts for you going into this game? Predictions, concerns? How do you see this one playing out against the Saudi Arabians?
I've watched all the games, and we played them in the September, I think, in Newcastle, St. James Park. And that game, we won 1-0, I think, if I remember that. I think we're going to beat them, to be honest, Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia comes out with the system maybe 5-3-2. And Mancini, because he knows he has a good career as a football manager. So I don't think he's going to sit back and defend. I think he's going to press, he's going to fight, and he's going to fight trying to win with better football. And when it comes to that, I think squad player matters. Our players are too good. Within that gap, I think it's going to be a really big fight, good game, end-to-end football, but I think we're just going to overcome because we have better players.
We're playing terribly, like you said. Our performances have been disgraceful, and I would say 99% of that has to do with terrible coaching. I want to know what you think is the solution to this team, because for me, I've said quite often in our videos that coach isn't utilizing the players to their strengths. And one thing that I suggested was putting Son up top like he does at Tottenham and adding the extra midfielder so we can control games better. And I think that helps us both offensively and defensively. For this Saudi match and then going forward in the knockout stages, what do you think is, one or two quick fixes that we can implement?
This sounds sad, but I think it's going back to the old way, old school. Maybe we set up as a 4-4-2 and we sit back and counter-attack. I think that's going to give us a win because we're used to it. Players know how to play that system. Just sitting back, parking the bus. And if we park the bus against the Saudi Arabia or maybe Australia or other teams, we're stronger than them. We have better players, to be honest. So when we tried to break down Malaysia, when they played 5-4-1, tried to defend, it was really hard to break them down after 40 crosses and 20 corners. So if we do that opposite way, we sit back and defend and we play anti-football. We have pace of Hwang, we have pace of Son, we have creative midfielder like Lee. I think we can beat them, and that's the maybe quickest way to adjust. Don't really have the system. I don't know what type of football they're playing right now. Counter-attack, Lee pass the ball to them into the space, and that will force Saudi Arabia to come up and play football, which will create so much space in behind. It's not the midfield issue. I don't think it's the back four issue or anything like that. I think it's the giving them the right role. Like if you look at modern football, number 10 is missing. Like number 10 is going out from the football. Number 10s, back in the days, we have Ozil, we have Schneider, we have Van der Vaart, we have all these kind of players who were able to just attack, not defend. If you look at our football, Son is playing as a 4-4-2, one of the striker, and Kang In Lee is playing on the right. Both of them are playing as a free role. If you look at the game, they just go wherever they want. That will lead other players to fill in the gaps for them, which is too much, because both of them are doing it. So I think just giving them a clear role, maybe Sonny just play on the left and maybe having Kang In Lee on the right. So we have both flankers who have different technical ability. Like if you look at Man City or if you look at the good teams who made good results, one side they will have a quick player, quick winger, and the other side they'll have a skillful player who can retain balls. So I think that could be the real good idea. And against Jordan, against Malaysia, me tried to get the result. Sonny was always on the left and Kang In Lee was always on the right. Because they're all out on the flanks, that helps the midfielders to stay in midfield. But if Sonny stays out front and Kang In Lee stays on the right, because they roll around so much, it makes other players to fill in their gaps when they defend. That's the problem, not the tactic, not the formation. giving them a clear roles, clear ideas, then I think we should overcome Saudi Arabia, to be honest. Klinsmann does the same interview over and over and over and again. He always blames the referee, and I really hate that. There's a quote that men blame someone, he still has a long way to go. And men who blames himself is halfway there. And men who blames nobody is already there, you know? But he's a leader of our team. Players are looking at him. Players are listening to him. Players get motivated by him. But after every game, if it was just a one game, I would understand. After every game, he's talking about the referee. I think that shows the mentality of the team, you know? Oh, we're not getting the result because of the referee. We're not doing well because of the referee. The decisions are poor against us. I think that would drag us down, you know? So I think he should stop.